Today we're going to prepare a classic tarte tatin. First we're going to make the dough. We're going to do it in the food processor so we can cut with the dough instead of kneading it in the mixer. This way we get a nicer structure from our dough. Put all the ingredients in the food processor. The following order doesn't matter. Always make sure your butter is cold and not warm and soft. Cut it in smaller pieces, put it with the ingredients and you get the best result. Switch on your food processor. It takes a very short time until you see that the ingredients start to form a dough. That's the moment you switch off the food processor immediately and take the dough out. Take the dough mixer out of your food processor, put it on your work surface, work it a little bit with your hands until you can form it to a ball. Cover it with some cling film and refrigerate it for at least an hour before we start using it for our tarte tatin. It's time now to make our caramel. Put the butter, the sugar and the lemon juice in a frying pan and start slowly to heat it until the butter and the sugar start to melt. Keep an eye because this can go easily too fast and then your caramel will burn and get bitter. Okay, our caramel gets this wonderful brownish color and we're going now to add the apples and we cook it together with the caramel. You will see that the apples start giving off their juices and we have to continue cooking and boiling the apples until this juices evaporate because otherwise the caramel will be too thin. It's such a shame that we don't have video with smell because the smell in my kitchen at the moment is just amazing. Look at this color. You know, we boil the apples in the caramel until the caramel gets thick enough that you can let it cool down and it will be like a sticky substance that holds the whole thing together. Continue cooking until you get the thickness that you want and then take off the apples and let it cool down so that we can prepare our pie form that we're going to bake our tarte tatin. Take your dough out of the refrigerator and flatten it on your surface with a little bit flour, and with a rolling pin we start rolling it evenly so that we can cover our tarte tatin. Tarte tatin is basically an upside down apple pie. Instead of having the dough under the filling, we have the dough on top of the filling. After you roll out the dough evenly, place it on top of the apples. Make sure you let the apples to cool before you use it, because this is a butter-based dough. If the apples will be hot, the butter in the dough will melt and it will basically ruin the whole effect of your dough and your tarte tatin. Place it on the top of the apples and start pushing the edges down until the bottom of your pie form. And this will make sure that you also get a nice side, because the sides will hold the whole thing together. Otherwise your tarte tatin will collapse. Before you flip it so that the apples come on top.